Hi everyone, this is your week 10 overview. We're going to talk about what we're going to be doing in the module this week. So this week we are moving on to our next topic of discussion, and we're going to be talking about food resources. So in this topic, there are sort of two distinct ideas here that we're going to be discussing. The first is about food security, or what we might call also food insecurity. So we're going to discuss a little bit about how for some people, actually for millions and millions of people around the world, food is not always easily accessible or available. And so we're going to learn about some of the reasons why that is. And then we're also going to talk about how in other parts of the country, we have just the opposite problem. So it's not that there is not enough food, there is too much food. And so both of those can have a negative impact on our health, right? Not having enough food or access to the nutrition and calories that we need, but also having access to too much calories, both of those can create problems. So that's sort of the first part of the discussion with food resources. And then the second part of the discussion with food is how we actually grow food. So we'll learn about what we call sort of modern agriculture, some of the things and the inputs that modern agriculture rely on. So right now we're still using a system where we can grow a lot of food on very little land, but it requires a lot of inputs. So we'll also discuss ways that we can perhaps change that so we don't have to use as many of those those oil-based inputs, especially the fertilizers and the pesticides and things like that. So we'll talk about that this week as well. So as far as assignments go this week, the lab is a little bit different in the sense that it's not really a lab this week. So this week instead, what you're going to do for lab is you're actually going to watch a video about agriculture. This is from The Habitable Planet, and some of the chapters that I have assigned you from The Habitable Planet, that's where this video comes from. Please note though that in order to access this video, it is through our library. It's Films on Demand, and so you'll need to log in with your Harper username and password, and then that will take you to the page for this particular video. And again, I want you to watch the whole thing. It's not a particularly long video. It's less than 30 minutes long, and you're going to again learn about a lot of different things in this video. So we'll talk about how food is traditionally grown, maybe alternatives to how food can be grown, what are other ways that we can control pests, what are other ways that we can make sure that our soils are fertile. So you'll sort of learn about that in this particular video. So then the lab this week is watching that video and then answering the questions that accompany it. Okay, so that's what we're going to do for lab this week. You also have your third and final project budburst observation. So this will be the last time that you go out again to that same tree, whatever that tree was that you first started observing, and you record your observations. So for the majority of trees, we're going to probably be in at least partial, if not full color. Other trees might have actually already passed that point, and you've already had leaves that have either started to fall or have completely fallen. There's a lot of variability with our fall color this year. It's definitely later than usual. There are still some trees that they're very, very green for this late in the fall, but once again, that's because of the warmer temperatures that we had through almost about the middle of the month. Things have definitely taken a turn for the colder, so I would expect to see lots of color developing fairly quickly here, simply because, again, we're starting to get into much cooler overnight temperatures, and our daytime temperatures aren't reaching nearly as high as they were. So we definitely should start seeing some of those changes. So this is the last time you're going to collect this data. And again, up until now, all we've been doing is putting it on a spreadsheet, and you've been holding on to those report forms. At least I hope you have. What we will do in a few weeks is we'll actually take your reports and you're going to upload them into a database. So we're going to go to the Budburst database, and I'll show you how to do it, and you're going to enter your reports into the database so that we can actually collect this information, and again, that they can use it, that they can look for patterns, trying to see what's happening with timing of these events, right? Are fall colors developing later? every year, or is it just an anomaly? Are leaves falling off later every year, or is it just an anomaly? Does it just happen to be a couple of warm years? So that's the kind of evidence we're using, and the data that you're collecting helps them to look at those patterns. So again, hold on to the sheets, just put your observations in the spreadsheet and hold on to them for now, and then in a few weeks I'm going to have you actually enter that data into a database. And then other than that, the other thing that I have for you this week, I have your exam study materials. So the next exam is going to be Monday, November the 9th. It will run for 1 week, just like we have seen previously. Two options for the exam, just like before. You have the traditional multiple choice exam, and then you have the all essay exam. And once again, I have provided a study guide for both. So you can choose either exam, whichever you're comfortable with. Again, I was not as many people chose the essay exam last time, but I will say that the average for that exam was higher. So I'm not sure if that's a product of the students who chose it tend to just do better on written assignments, or if it was sort of because you know exactly what to expect because you had the questions in front of you and that's why you were able to do better. Either way, it's entirely up to you which one you choose, but choose whichever format you're most comfortable with. And again, we're going to also do study sessions. I will hold those once again. So I do have a sign-up sheet here as well. Please choose the days and times that work best for you or you would be most interested in attending a study session. They're optional, they're not mandatory. Once again, it's just meant for people who specifically have questions or are looking for more information about the exams. So that's all for week 10. Again, slightly different look to it, something a little bit different we're doing for lab this week. If you have any questions, please let me know. Good luck, everybody.